Hello everyone, welcome to the Valley News Now desk. Duke Schindler here with you on this snowy Tuesday afternoon. But before we really get to anything here, we want to get to you some Investigate TV here as they take an in-depth look at the impacts of witnessing acts of violence in person and through a screen, which examining ways to cope, plus the next generation of farmers embracing technology to put more food on your table. We take a look at the high-tech tools that are transforming the field here. So without further ado, here is Investigate TV.
Today on Investigate TV Plus,
something's going on.
It's something you never think will happen in your city or town until it does.
7 gunshot victims, 2 critical, actually make that 8.
Schools, supermarkets, places of worship, crime scenes after acts of mass violence.
For the first few months, I was consumed by it. Even now, I hardly leave my house.
And in the wake, victims both near and far. We examine the physical and psychological toll of these terrifying events and share survivors' inspiring paths to recovery.
We're better, but we're not healed. We're not healed. We're healing.
Plus, the future of farming.
It's just a legacy in general. It's something that my grandpa, he built up, and my dad, they've worked hard for it, and I want to take it over and know that they're in good hands.
We explore how the next generation brings new technology to the field, hoping to cut back on waste and increase farming productivity.
Then a silent artist whose work says it all.
I'm so proud of him, and this has been a journey.
We bring you to a gallery debut speaking volumes about inclusion.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus.
For a growing number of Americans, mass violence is no longer unimaginable as they watch it play out in front of their eyes, both in person and through a screen. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. Mass violence is defined as, quote, disasters which include shootings and acts of terrorism that often occur without warning and can happen anywhere.
Experts we spoke with say they're just beginning to understand the overall public health impact of witnessing mass violence, both in person and online.
Reporter Kristen Crowley explores methods to help survivors cope and explains how witnessing mass violence can have long-lasting effects on your mental health.
Gabriella Majors-Darger loves puzzles.
Let me see it.
She says they can help calm her mind.
Gotta be on this end.
It's just one tool the high schooler and her mom, Bridget Barton, used to prioritize their mental health after witnessing terror unfold.
That was the one true experience that I did not feel safe at all, and I did not trust anyone.
And there seems to be a ruckus going on to the side of the stage now.
Guys, something's going on.
Shooter on west side of the Union Station. All units, shelter in place.
I'm down here. You see a victim. There are at least 2 victims, possibly 3.
We have 7 gunshot victims, 2 critical, actually make that 8.
On Valentine's Day 2024, a victory parade for the Kansas City Chiefs' back-to-back Super Bowl wins took a violent turn when gunfire erupted from a crowd of hundreds. The shooting, which police say was the result of an argument, left a local radio DJ dead and 22 others wounded, including 11 children.
I pulled a slug from my bag. I washed blood off my daughter's tennis shoes. And although we weren't shot, this has changed our entire life.
More than a year later, Bridget says the fear from that day lingers.
For the first few months, I was consumed by it. Even now, I hardly leave my house.
She says she and her daughter often have flashbacks, and they avoid Union Station, the site of the shooting and a Kansas City landmark.
It brings back like memories and of when it happened. There's this one flashback that I get most of the time of everyone running past me.
A March 2025 study published in JAMA Network reveals roughly 1 in 15 Americans has witnessed a mass shooting. And of those, about 1 in 45 says they were hurt, whether by gunfire or other injuries, such as being trampled.
If you are on the scene of something like that, it's going to have long-lasting effects.
Dr. Jillian Peterson is a psychologist and co-authored the JAMA Network study. She says being present during any type of mass violence can lead to mental health issues such as anxiety and depression.
It can produce post-traumatic stress disorder if you think you're going to die. It can make you fearful in spaces. And those impacts can last for decades.
PTSD symptoms can cause flashbacks to the traumatic event, trouble sleeping, memory problems, irritability or angry outbursts, and feeling disconnected from family and friends. Dr. Peterson says typically, people present during an act of mass violence experience at least one of these symptoms, even if they're not physically injured. She says the age of live streaming and viral videos has created a different challenge. Research from 2014 found people who were more frequently exposed to images and videos of mass violence were more likely to report symptoms of anxiety.
It's something that's kind of ever present in our mind as a possibility. I think we've in many ways become numb to it, but that doesn't mean it's not affecting us, right? It's making us anxious. It's making us more fearful of public spaces.
A 2024 survey of 1,000 Americans found 36% of respondents admitted to avoiding public places or events due to fear of a mass shooting.
Very normal to feel anxious and fearful about going back to a space where there's a mass casualty event.
But for some, returning to the site where they witnessed mass violence can be cathartic. In the early morning hours of New Year's Day in 2025 in New Orleans, a lone terrorist used a truck as a weapon to barrel down Bourbon Street.
I saw things flying through the air, but it was just at that point, I was about 3 blocks in, so the amount of speed at that point, there wasn't much time to react.
The carnage left 14 people dead, including the gunman, and at least 57 others injured, including combat veteran Adam Costi.
I was able to jump at the last possible second, where it was just my foot that was hit.
He was unable to walk, and first responders carried him to safety.
I just kept my head and eyes down because I didn't want those images in my head.
As the physical scars fade, he says seeing the victims' lives cut short is an image difficult to erase.
It's a tough situation. I think for me also, seeing those that pass away, a lot of them younger in their 20s, that was very tough for me.
Back in Kansas City, Bridget Barton and her daughter are both in therapy, treatment that Dr. Jillian Peterson says is crucial after witnessing a traumatic event. But they're optimistic with time, their emotional scars will heal.
We're better, but we're not healed. We're not healed. We're healing.
In addition to therapy and revisiting the scene of the crime, coping strategies can include relieving stress through meditation or yoga, limiting exposure to mass violence online, and if going to public places alone elevates your stress, trying to get involved in community activities like volunteering. Reporting at Union Station in Kansas City, I'm Kristen Crowley.
Experts say other signs of emotional distress related to mass violence can include feeling numb or like nothing matters, feeling guilty but not sure why, feeling like you have to keep busy, and excessive smoking, drinking, or using drugs, including prescription medication.
According to the Mayo Clinic, you should talk to your doctor if you have disturbing thoughts and feelings about a traumatic event for more than a month, especially if they're severe.
Still ahead, a pioneering procedure allows a teen to walk once again.
I just hugged him and thanked him and cried because it was just life-changing, really.
We examine a rare condition that often goes undiagnosed and a successful surgery.
But first, the next generation of farmers embraces technology to put food on your table.
There's something that it's satisfying to me, just all your hard work and getting reward of the highest yield.
We take a look at the high-tech tools transforming the field.
Our in-depth coverage continues. You can get connected to Investigate TV Plus on all social media platforms.
Experts say an industry that feeds millions of families across the country faces a growing problem.
According to the most recent data, farmers are the oldest workforce in America with a typical age of 58. As they reach retirement, there's mounting fears the next generation won't be able to keep up with food production demand.
In a 2023 report, current Indiana Governor and then Senator Mike Braun said the future of the nation's food supply chain, quote, looms in jeopardy.
Now that we know the problem, we want to look at some of the solutions to replenish our farm fields with workers.
First, we head to rural Nebraska, where reporter Peter Zampa shows us one example of how the next generation is taking charge.
Technology befitting a special operations command center, squeezed into the cockpit of a good old tractor.
It'll drive itself, it's gonna hold it in a straight line.
Jet is 17 years old, working at 37 Ag, a relatively new family business.
Ag has kind of forced the business models to become bigger and bigger.
But he and his 25-year-old brother are the family's 6th generation to farm this land, where soybeans and corn reign supreme.
It's just a legacy in general. It's something that my grandpa, he built up, and my dad, they've worked hard for it, and I want to take it over and know that they're in good hands.
Begging for rain, and now we've gotten rain and we're out of the fields. And
Jet and Grady have helped around the farm since they could walk. They spend every day here, mostly because they love it. But they now have the responsibility of maintaining the business, and the overhead cost for an operation like this, millions of dollars.
There's always places to spend money, especially in this ag economy, and it's deciding which ones are really worth the money and provide a return.
Grady says modernizing is not for show, but to improve the bottom line. Using new equipment to plant and spray chemicals eliminates waste.
The seed is in here, it's gonna come out, it's gonna get metered by this.
Over all of our acres, what we would call our pre-emerge herbicide and fertilizer pass, we were within 0.5% of what we were supposed to use. What would have been 10% 5 years ago.
Grady also created a separate revenue stream that started as a high school project.
We were growing a lot more corn on corn instead of rotating to beans every other year, and we had a lot of residue with that, and we were having a hard time tilling through it, planting through it the next year. So we found my project in high school was to try to remove not all of the residue, but half or 60% of the residue, and be able to have that as another revenue stream to feedlots.
Grady sees promise in automation and believes in 10 years he could have a system that plants, harvests, and sprays by itself. Jet says it'll never fully replace life on the farm that they know and love.
There's something that it's satisfying to me, just all your hard work and getting reward of the highest yield. There's years you don't make any money, and sometimes it's just your pride and joy.
As the Johnsons hope to pass their operation on to a 7th generation, a family farm in Iowa also embraces technology and the form of artificial intelligence. Michael and Dennis Gallagher use precision planting spraying equipment with built-in AI. By outfitting their self-propelled sprayer with intelligent cameras, they can detect weeds in real time and apply chemicals just where they're needed. The result? Less waste and more productivity. Before AI, the Gallaghers would treat entire fields just to avoid missing a weed.
We're eliminating, probably over the course of a year, half of the chemical that's going into the land and the environment.
Between the nozzle hardware and supporting tech, they've invested about $125,000, but they say they're confident the system will pay off in the long run.
Still ahead, one artist challenges what it means to be heard.
This is a really interesting opportunity just to see. And then I saw the artwork, I was like, oh my God, this is insane.
We introduce you to the painter and poet with a loud message.
But first, a teen's dream of walking again felt out of reach until a life-changing procedure.
Before the surgery, I didn't know if I would make it to graduation.
We share her journey and reveal the medical mystery that once kept her trapped in pain. You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime streaming online. Get the app for Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. It's free to download.
It's a condition experts say often goes undiagnosed because of its rarity and the symptoms associated with it, some of which are headache, memory loss, neck and ear pain, and difficulty swallowing.
Styloidogenic jugular venous compression syndrome is the compression of the jugular vein in the neck, a vital pathway for blood to flow from the brain to the heart.
For one Arizona teen, her symptoms were so severe she was unable to walk.
That is, until a groundbreaking surgery changed her life.
Reporter Michaela Marshall takes a closer look at the condition and explains how a neurosurgeon found a solution.
Walking at high school graduation is a major milestone and achievement for any teenager. But for Natalie Byrne, it's a miracle.
Before the surgery, I didn't know if I would make it to graduation.
And walking beside her today is Dr. Peter Nakaji. She says he is the reason she no longer needs a wheelchair.
I just hugged him and thanked him and cried because it was just life-changing, really.
Dr. Nakaji is the director of the Scottsdale Neurosurgery Specialists inside the Bob Bovee Neuroscience Institute at Honor Health. He helped pioneer a surgery that solved the medical mystery that trapped Natalie in pain all her life.
If you imagine just squeezing your neck until you can feel your eyes bulge, it's like that all the time.
He's talking about styloidogenic jugular venous compression syndrome, a rare condition that blocks blood from draining out of the brain, which builds pressure. Dr. Nakaji says it's often misunderstood and overlooked by doctors. And in Natalie's case, her symptoms got worse over the years. She suffered headaches, brain fog, even hearing and vision loss. By senior year, she needed a wheelchair.
I was passing out around 7 times a day.
Dr. Nakaji performed a complex decompression procedure.
Nobody else is doing it. It's definitely a delicate procedure. You're literally moving along the vein, stripping the tissue off of it without tearing it open. And of course, massive amounts of blood is flowing through your jugular vein out of your head every minute.
After surgery, Natalie felt immediate relief and could walk on her own within hours.
I have not passed out once since surgery.
A dramatic improvement that's giving her hope and happiness for the first time in a long time.
The only time I use my wheelchair is for back support because it's custom and so it feels really good on my back.
Byrne says her newfound health has inspired her future goals. She says she plans to go to school to become a phlebotomist so she can help others in the medical community.
Still ahead, he became an artist against all odds.
At 10 months, I was told to put him in home. That's all. He would never be more than a vegetable.
We introduce you to the painter and poet sharing his work with the world.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime online. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel at Investigate TV. You can catch stories and full episodes.
Just because someone is non-speaking doesn't mean they're non-thinking.
Studies estimate up to 30% of children with autism spectrum disorder are nonverbal, though disability advocates are beginning to shift away from the term nonverbal because it may imply someone doesn't understand language.
Experts say non-speaking is a more inclusive term that can represent any kind of non-oral communication from writing to sign language.
One autistic individual's preferred way of communication is through his art.
Reporter Deborah Alfarone introduces us to the creator who expresses himself through paint and poetry.
It's a Friday night in Washington, D.C.
I think that you can really see his emotion coming out.
Inside this gallery, an artist's first ever exhibit opens.
It's beautiful, it flows.
The crowd takes in the abstract paintings, bright colors, and the story behind them. It's the first time anyone, anywhere, is hearing from Charles Lenny Lunn.
I think I'm so proud of him. And this has been a journey. At 10 months, I was told to put him in home. That's all. He would never be more than a vegetable. And you fight and you struggle because this system tells you they're not going to be anything. And in fact, they're in there.
Lori Peters-Lotier says her son Charles was born with a rare genetic disorder. It's linked with autism and apraxia, leaving the 34-year-old unable to speak nor plan and execute his movements.
And it's not an intellectual disability. It's actually a mind-body dysfunction, and their brain is not sending the synapses to their body. So he doesn't know where his body is in space. So when he paints, he feels his body.
Jason Hamaker owns Lost Origins Gallery. He says showing Charles's art was a no-brainer.
I'm a father, like I've got 2 kids, and I was like, this is a really interesting opportunity just to see. And then I saw the artwork, I was like, oh my God, this is insane.
In his Maryland basement, Charles paints with the help of an instructor who opens the paint. Each painting represents a chapter of Charles' story. He writes the captions and poems that go with the exhibit, tapping on a letterboard with the help of a communication specialist. Co-curator Sarah Tangy reads one of them.
My speech glows like the sun, highest things, my words.
Charles says through using his letterboard, he hopes people who see his art get curious. Just coming to my show has the tiny potential to challenge assumptions on how non-speaking folks truly don't sit in silence on the inside. A recent study in the journal Autism reports people often underestimate the literacy of non-speaking teens and adults.
What do you want people to know about Charles and perhaps other people who are non-speaking?
I want them to know that they're inside, that they are God's creation, as Charles says. I am that I am. I am God's creation. And they're no lesser, they're not disabled, they are human.
And as you can see, they have something to say through the art of a conversation.
You know, everyone has a unique personality and something to share, but you have to take the time to really get inside and see what they're thinking and feeling. And through art is such a good way to do that.
The art and the poetry. And look, his mother, believed in him and believed he had a gift, and he sure has some gifts for sure.
And now he's sharing it with everyone.
He's sharing it with all of us.
Well, that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm T. Chappelle.
And I'm Lee Zurich. Thanks for watching.
All right, that'll do for this week's episode of Investigate TV. Thank you very much for joining us here today as we try to pack in a big day here weather-wise on the desk. But once again, if you have any thoughts, feel free to reach out to us. We love to hear the feedback. Make sure you have the VNN News app on your mobile or smartphone device, as well as if you have a smart TV, Roku, Apple TV, Fire Stick, all available, and have the VNN News app. So make sure you have that downloaded so you never miss another Investigate TV or whatever the desk is working on here today. But for Duke Schindler here on the desk, we'll catch you later.